Hello, this is my basic Haven guide. We're going to be going over all the important things you need to play Haven in this video. So we're going to talk about the defenders' numbers first. And so the defenders are confined to 5 players, as every team is in Valorant. And they need to defend 3 sites. And the problem is with this is that generally on sites you want 2 players. And we can't do 2-2-2 because that'd be 6. So we need a 1, right? So we're going to do a 1-2-2. And the problem is with this is that now that means that we're going to be -1 defender. And the reason why we're -1 defender is because we want 2 here, and we don't have that. So we're -1. So by default, we are -1 on Haven as defense. And this creates its own problems, where we also have a divided strong side and a weak side on site. And we don't really want that, right? So what teams do in competitive is they tend to make this a 3. So they tend to do a 1-1-3 because then they have a really defined strong side on the most incentivized site for attackers. So the reason why this is the most incentivized site for attackers is because they tend to have the best conversion when they actually plant, and because it's the hardest site to retake. And the reason why they have 1-1 here is because there are agents that allow this to happen. The agents that allow this to happen are Sentinels such as Killjoy or Cypher. There's also Omen and there's Astra. So the reason why these agents are important to having this 1-1-3 comp is because the Sentinel is able to defend a site by themselves to a certain degree. They can get very early information with things like this turret, seeing all of long, this alarm bot, seeing if they have entered into garage, which gives them decent amount of information. They may even get kills with nano swarms early on in the round, or with themselves shooting through walls maybe at the alarm bot triggering. So that could be a very important way to get kills as the weak side. You may also have an Astra. Actually, I'll go over Omen because Omen is more common. Actually, I think Astra is probably better to explain though. So we're going to go with Astra. And Astra is able to... So the smokes don't really help themselves as much. They are able to kind of get kills 1-for-1 or maybe 2-for-1, like a 2-for-1 or something like that, right? They can use Gravity Well, or Astra can use Gravity Well to get that. They can use the enemy smokes to their advantage by sitting in enemy smoke and using their pull and spraying through the smoke. Things like that are very possible for agents like Astra. But the most important thing for this controller role on the weak side is that they are still able to help the 3 players on A. They can still influence what they do, right? So they can still put a nebula down over here. They can put a Gravity Well here. This jet can go peek with the breach, right? So this controller is going to be influencing what the 3 can do. And you see, this is the same thing with Omen as well. Omen can put a dark over here, and he can paranoia from this box if he wants to. Although it is albeit a bit weak, obviously a lot weaker than what Astra can do for them. But it is still possible. This can be like one ways as well, not exactly in this position. But that's kind of like how you might see in competitive. Like the ranked defense configuration, which is more like a 1-1-1-2. And the reason why this is bad, right? The reason why this is bad is because these 1 players are basically solo players playing very close to each other. Because it's very hard for the garage player to maybe they can help C a tiny bit. The garage player is going to struggle to help B. The B player might have struggled to help garage a bit. The C player might be able to help garage a bit. But generally they're going to struggle to play together. In a meaningful way, and this can like be a further problem when the weak side on your team start to trying to make plays, right? Because generally you want the strong side to make plays, but it's stronger when the strong side has more players. So generally it's better to have the 1-1-3, but you don't get that in ranked. So what happens when you lose a player in the weak side? So we're gonna have Phoenix for this, and we'll put like Jet and Stover. So what happens if my Phoenix decides that they're going to flash out and die? So they're going to curveball out here, they're going to run out, and they're going to die. So what happens when that happens, right? What happens to your team, and what happens to the enemy team or the attacking team? So the attacking team might just decide to reset off the pick, right? That's one of the better plays to do, especially in ranked. Even though it is probably, I mean, a lot of people won't do it, but it is definitely one of the better plays. So what you're going to do is the attacking team will kind of like take this space, or they'll retain this space that they have. They might even have a lurk here, or they might have a person like sitting in a lobby. Maybe they've just shot the recon dart and then they've got a lobby by themselves, just chilling. And what they'll do is they'll reset the space and they'll let the defense sort of cook in their own thoughts, right? They'll let them overthink things. So this can create some horrible rotations where maybe the B player will decide to take up this space because first of all, they don't have anyone in proximity with them, so it's going to be hard for them to get traded. They're not going to want to play in a place where they can't get traded. So they're going to start to move towards their teammates, so maybe Killjoy might do the same. So then all of a sudden, we've created a lot of pockets of space that are available to us or to the attacking team to take. That may even be the... if Omen moves away and goes over towards B, there's a chance that maybe one of these players decides to rotate, maybe Jet decides to rotate, and so we'll start playing for info on long. And then Jet will probably sit in A link. And then we've created another pocket of space here, right? And obviously this has got weaker. Oh, sorry, got stronger from the enemy team, right? There are no 2 players looking here. But it's only more in effort so that they can trade rather than they actually wanted to bolster this area. And you also notice that they bolstered the middle part of the area, which is actually the easiest area for them to retake. So means that the best place for you to take is actually open. And one of the extremity sites is easy to take as well, which means that Sova has to do the whole map to get there. Which means that if they don't have the early information, he's going to take a very long time and he's going to delay his own team's retake. And in ranked, that's really bad because people are impatient. They're going to run in and die before this guy gets over. So there are plenty of problems that when someone dies early on defense on Haven, because you're already -1, you're making it a -2, where your teammates have to try and cover all these positions that they're already outnumbered anyway. And I was also talking about one more thing as well, is that in Haven, you generally want to trick the enemy team or trick the defending team into rotating around, because, well, like I said, they're -1. So if they rotate, so for instance, if you put heavy pressure onto A early on, then this player might feel inclined to rotate, or this player might feel inclined to rotate, which creates a space that you can take as the attacking team, because there's no one else there. They don't have a designated person to rotate from the site because there's only one person on that site or in that position, right? So it makes life hard because these players might be calling for rotations, and if you decide to ever fake something, then you're going to get a free site every time. It's the reason why in competitive you actually see a lot of teams on the enemy on attack get the site fairly free, because the attacking team shot callers or IGL or whatever, or even just other players, are able to identify what it takes to get this free site by making other pressure on the map and identifying where this free space is going to exist. So I also want to talk about a bit of attack, because I haven't talked about a huge amount of attack. And generally on attack, you want to be trying to deny information, because, like I said, information is very important to the defending team because they need to understand when to rotate or not. So the more information you actually deny, or the more information, or the more impact you have on somewhere, then it's going to give the enemy team like a massive problem, right? Because if you have a lot of impact on A, but you actually don't want to go A, or you are able to rotate, then this impact on A is going to force people to come and help their A players. And then you can just rotate to an open space. And then when it comes to actually denying information, you can do omen smokes, such as this one. Even ones like deep like this are fine. You can do ones like this that not many people do. And it just denies the B player from getting any information in mid. You can do ones like this, denies the the garage player, but generally you'll see this, which is probably a bit better. You can also do ones like this as well. This smoke will deny the C player from looking down here. And it also, if you have someone like if you have a pop flasher like Sky or Phoenix, there's a lot of areas to pop out from this smoke with a pop flash, right? So generally there are quite a few options you have as attack, and generally you want to be playing slow. You want to be playing for information, and more importantly, denying the enemy team information, so then you can easily take these spots that are going to be free. From rotators, right? The rotators are going to rotate away, and then you're able to take up that space. So yeah, that's it for Haven. I don't think I did a particularly great job. of explaining the things, but hopefully it was good enough. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.